Okay, right before we begin, I want to make something clear. This is very much an ongoing situation, at least as of the time of recording. Sony or PlayStation have not said anything about this matter, and considering their track record with communicating with their customers, most likely they won't. So, what exactly happened? So, during the weekend, reports started showing up of people acquiring new games from the PlayStation Store and being met with a 30-day time limit on their license. Now, to clarify, this timer is not visible within the PlayStation 5, but it is very much there. However, it is visible in the PlayStation 4. Now, there were a lot of conflicting information, a lot of what's going on, what's happening. People contacted PlayStation Online Assistant, which is very much an AI chatbot. Occasionally you may get someone, but keep in mind you cannot fully trust it. But apparently through this method, they had been confirmed that it has in fact been a change. Now, we're going to try to look at this with a bit of nuance, because the conversation has been completely at both ends. You have people that think this is the absolute end of the world and Sony should be burned down at the stake. And then you have the other guys who think that this is pretty much a nothing burger. You are drowning in a glass of water. Now, from my personal opinion, this is not as bad as it looked like in the beginning, but it's still bad. Okay, it's still not a good thing. So what exactly has happened? From what I could see, Sony introduced a new DRM feature. So when you purchase a game from March 2026 onward, the game will have a 30-day period in which the license for that game works. Apparently, you will need to connect to the PlayStation servers in that time in order to renew that license. When this was initially came out, it was under thinking that Sony just put that in. You're going to have to log in, connect your console and your game at the very least every 30 days indefinitely. Now, from new information that has come out, more specifically today, this is apparently not the case. The user Ansru, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that, in the Reset Era forums, did a very nice breakdown of what he thinks is going on. So he uses two games to test. He bought the game on the 9th of April, turned the PS4 on the 21st of April, and the 30-day license was installed into the game. He mentions that he has a jailbroken PS4, so he can kind of look behind the scenes of what's going on when the console boots and what it does when it connects and everything. So the license was installed. Then he installed that game on the 25th of April. You see, when you purchase the game, the moment you purchase the game on the PlayStation Store, the license is installed in your console. The moment your console is on. So if you buy it on the website, outside of your console, when you turn that console on, it will automatically install the license, independently if you install the game or not, if you download it or not, because it links it to the console and to your account. So, when he installed the game on the 25th, 4 days after, it did in fact say that the game was playable offline for another 26 days. So those 4 days since the license was on were discounted from the 30. Then he mentions that approximately 30 minutes after installing the game, the license had been replaced with one that is indefinite, which is the regular license that has been always used. When you purchase the game, you acquire that permanent license. He says that this remains no matter whatever you delete the game or reinstall it or whatever. So that is 16 days between the initial purchase and the license showing as permanent. Then he purchased another game on the 27th of April. He installed the same day. Again, 30-day license was installed. Unlike the first game, no permanent license had been issued yet. So why they are two different, behaving differently? The first game, 16 days has passed, which will put it outside of the 14-day refund window for the PlayStation Network. What he speculates, and I think because I've seen others say that they have received the timer is gone in games purchased after March, but more than 15, 16 days. There was probably an exploit, people using this, the license that you get immediately when you purchase, in order to trick the system to being able to keep the license of the game, but at the same time be able to refund it. So people will keep access to the game, but it will get the money back. What he speculates, and from what I've seen in other places, this most likely seems to be the case, but again, nothing has been said by PlayStation or Sony, is that this is just a stopgap measure in order to prevent this potential exploit. But that would make sense, because you need to keep in mind, the 30-day license was already something implemented into the PlayStation software. This was used for subscriptions, so for PlayStation Plus. When you subscribe to the game and you install it, you get that 30-day license. That makes sure that when your subscription ends, you will inevitably lose access to the game and nothing funny can be done about it because the license on the console was just for 30 days. This seems like they have reused that system and put it into the games in order to prevent some sort of exploit. Now, this is not completely confirmed, most likely won't, because Sony. Bottom line is, if you buy a digital game right now, you will get that 30-day. So you won't be able to play it unless you connect it. Now, what happens if you connect the console before that 14, 15-day window? Most likely, it keeps going and you keep losing days. And at some point after that 14-day window, whether it's immediately, maybe after 1 or 2 days, who knows, you get the permanent license. However, this means, and this is the problem that I find that is serious. Now, it's not as serious as before. You won't have to connect every 30 days at least for the rest of your life for your games. But it is a problem. It is eating away a little bit more to your ownership of your games. Because this way, you install the game, you will have to connect the console at some point after those 14 days in order to get the permanent license, if this is in fact what is going on here. That means you cannot buy something, install it, disconnect the console, and then play forever. You will need to connect to the PlayStation network. Now, what is the good thing about this and not what we thought it was 2-3 days ago? This is not likely to be applied to anything outside of this. Hopefully, this is just, like I said, a stopgap measure, and sooner or later Sony will find a more permanent solution that doesn't require people to connect to the internet to validate their license after purchase. The conversation around this has been pretty crazy. And considering what the response was, seems to me that if Sony actually did what we thought it did, with the 30-day permanent connection forever, most likely they could get away with it. That's the scary part. I'm going to take a moment to shill for Stop Killing Games, because I believe that things like this reminds us how volatile the whole system is. I understand people that don't care, okay? I understand I don't agree with them, but I understand people just don't want to care because it doesn't affect them directly. Let's be honest, even if you had to connect every 30 days at the minimum, the percentage of players that would be affected wouldn't be as big. Why? Because most people that own a PS5 has a semi-permanent internet connection. It's not hard. The console connects automatically once it has been connected once. So something that people set up and forget about it. They take the permanent connection for granted, which is fair. The problem is not this in particular. The problem is the bigger picture. Even if it's just as this is, and this is just a stopgap measure, it's still a step, slightly, in the wrong direction. To be fair, maybe this is the only thing they could think of in a quick manner to prevent it, but I'm gonna be completely honest with you. We need more ownership protection. Because right now it's this, okay? They did this and maybe it's a little fix, but maybe with this they find out that, maybe we can get away with it and we can permanently implement something similar. What if in the near future you will need to connect your console for your console to work? Ah, yes. I'm sure Don Matrick will be proud. Still, this is something that is a slippery slope. Either way, at the end of the day, at least for now, physical games remain your best option if you want to actually own your games. Because it may not be a problem right now, but someday, I know it's hard to think 20, maybe even 30 years in the future, the servers will go down eventually. if you're younger, you probably don't care. Let me tell you, if the PlayStation 2 was an online console like the PlayStation 4 was, right now you wouldn't be able to access any game that you purchased back in the day. And you may be thinking, I don't care, I'm not going to play these games in 30 years. Well, I still play Doom from time to time. It's a very fond memory of my childhood. So never say never. Maybe in 20 years you may want to play Marvel Spider-Man. Maybe you don't have where to get it from. This is not to be all doomer about it, but this is something that needs to be kept in mind. And this is why we need to support things like Stop Killing Games, which is doing a fantastic job. Hopefully, something good can come out of it, some legislation that helps, because nothing prevents any of these companies to simply take it away if they wish to. That's food for thought. Anyway, we'll see. Maybe Sony says something. I doubt it, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you've seen this, what do you think about it? Do you think this was actually completely overblown? Do you think Sony stepped out of line? Do you think there is some room for this line of thought? Maybe this was indeed just a quick measure to stop an exploit. Either way, you can let me know in the comments below. Just keep it civil, please. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.